Hello, I'm back and now we are going to talk about the editor setup. So here they have a few recommendations for us, but the main recommendation is to use VS Code. An editor is important for you to boost your productivity. So VS Code is very popular nowadays, but WebStorm is also a great tool that JetBrains is developing for years. We also have other tools, but I would not recommend you to use the other tools because VS Code and WebStorm, they provide more features for us. There are two features that are really nice to use integrated with your editor. One of these features is called Linting. So when you do something wrong, the lint can provide you some tips on how to fix it, and you can have integrations with these linters specifically for React with VS Code and also with WebStorm. Another tool that's really nice is the formatting tool. Like there is one tool that's very popular in this space that's called Prettier. So you should use Prettier also integrated with your IDE. IDE is just a different name for editor. So it's an integrated development environment. So you can do everything that you need in development mode inside an IDE or an editor. So we have like the extension for VS Code to run Prettier all the time that you save your code. So your code is always formatted in a nice way, and also you can have rules that you can share with other developers in your team, so you always format the code in the same way. They have also put a warning here that maybe you have some conflict between ESLint rules and the Prettier rules. So it's better to use this preset, so it's going to not use ESLint to format your code. So the format of your code is going to be defined only by Prettier. So you don't have this conflict and your code looks nice and always in the same way. Let's take a look in VS Code now. So going to VS Code, we have here like our index as we had before, but now we need to install the extension. So let me go back here and let's see what is the name. It's saying to install the extension with this name here, and you can use this command like Command P. Let's press Command P, paste it. Oh, it's missing an E, and boom. Now it's installing the extension here. Okay, now our extension is ready. The other configuration it's asking us to do is to format on autosave. So we can run this command here, Command Shift P or Ctrl Shift P on Windows, go to settings and then format on save. Let's do it. Settings. And format on save is here. Okay. So we can close here. Now I just opened the Next.js blog that we created in the first video as an example of an app with Next.js, just to show you how VS Code can help us here. So if you just like add extra lines here, or maybe do like this, when I save, can you see it's running Prettier? So it's putting everything in the correct place for us. So no space here, no space here. And you can do this like all the time. And you can just save and it's going to format in a nice way. So that's helpful because if you have a lot of people working the same code, it's always going to get a consistent look and feel. So I'm going to hit save and it's organized again for us automatically. So that's really helpful. So you should use Prettier and you can use like format on save so you can save time. Now I'm going to explain how I use it. So I'm going to go to WebStorm and show how I use WebStorm. Okay, here I have a project open in WebStorm, and this project is of course a React project. And first you need to make sure that you have your Prettier configured correctly. So I'm going to my preference here and you can type Prettier and just double check if the Prettier package is correctly here, so you can have your Prettier running. I also have like a custom shortcut, so I can have Prettier when I press Option P. So all the time I press Option P, it's going to format with Prettier. So instead of using save on format, I prefer to press a key all the time. So when I'm working here, like I can do some changes and I can like, okay, the code's not is not looking very good, so I can just press Option P, and Prettier is going to format everything for me. And also, something that is nice about this, if you're working a code that is not formatted properly, you don't want to format everything all the time. So what you can do, you can just select a part of this code and ask for Prettier to format. So I'm going to select just this part, and I'm going to format with Prettier, but you can see it's not formatting this part here. But I can press here, and it's going to format everything. So the nice thing about this is that you have more control, and then you can select just one part of the code that you want to format. So I'm going to format here again, and I'm going to, okay, just this part. But if I want to format this part now, I can do like this, and so on. Of course, you can have your previous settings like, okay, I want to have a white line between this type of statement and so on. But that's just a previous configuration. But the idea here is to just show you how you can use VS Code and also how you can use WebStorm. And that's the way that I use WebStorm, with a shortcut to format my file with Prettier. And when I'm working with a lot of people, if the files are not formatted already, maybe I just want to format a very specific part of the code. That was a very simple video, but just to show you install Prettier and use ESLint rules to be sure that your code is formatted properly, and also you have all the best practices of React being applied to your code. We still have a lot to cover in this series, covering all the documentation. See you in the next one. Bye bye.